The world of Pokemon spin-off games is a lot more vast than I previously thought. Thanks to everyone who commented on my last video, I learned of many more Pokemon games where you could, in fact, get shiny Pokemon. The first game I'm going to be talking about today is actually another Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game. However, this game came out way before the most recent remake that came out on the Switch. This Mystery Dungeon game came out all the way back in the Wii era as a WiiWare game exclusively in Japan, and it's called Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Adventure Team. It's actually 3 titles. These games were actually a set of 3 games that were the first ever Mystery Dungeon games to be released on home consoles. The other Mystery Dungeon games were only on the mobile consoles like the DS and the 3DS. They even use the same models in these games as Pokemon Rumble, which is another WiiWare game. They are also the first Mystery Dungeon game to introduce shiny Pokemon. Shiny Pokemon in this game, however, are extremely rare, and there are only a few cases of people actually finding these shinies, which makes this game probably one of the few games that has the least shiny Pokemon caught in it ever. When you take into account the fact that it's exclusively Japanese, it's WiiWare and the Wii Shop has been since closed down, it kind of makes sense why this game went under the radar. The shiny Pokemon in this game have one big difference about them, and that's that they actually have a hunger stat of 200 instead of 100. But other than that, they're exactly the same as their non-shiny counterparts. If you guys don't know how Mystery Dungeon works, you have a hunger bar, and you gotta constantly fill that hunger bar up to keep your health up. So having a hunger bar of 200 is pretty good, because then you don't gotta waste as much food. This is a crazy find, and I personally will have no clue that this game even existed, so huge shout out to Jay the Pizza 7600 in my comments on the last video for pointing it out to me. And I'm pretty sure there's like a fan translated game floating around somewhere on the interwebs. I can't point it to you guys, but if you look hard enough, you might find it. The next game that I decided to exclude from my last video was Pokemon Cafe Remix. I knew about the shiny Pokemon in this game, but I really didn't feel like it was an actual shiny hunt, you know what I'm saying? Basically in this game, you run a Pokemon cafe and the Pokemon you catch are customers that come in and that you then need to raise a friendship with in order to make them work for you. And that counts as like catching them because you recruit them to your cafe. Shiny Pokemon come in just like regular customers and you're able to recruit them the exact same way. There are also events that appear for Pokemon Cafe that boost the odds of getting a certain shiny. And not every Pokemon can be shiny in this game. That's something that's actually common amongst a lot of these freemium games. There are only a select few Pokemon that can be shiny. I'm not really a big fan of the freemium games that are the new Pokemon spin-offs, and I refuse to spend any money on them to increase my chances of getting a shiny. But I did feel the need to cover this game since I know some of you in the comments asked me to. This next game, however, is definitely a game worth playing. The next game that you might not know has shiny Pokemon in it is Pokemon Battle Revolution. So this game was going to be part of my original video, but I decided to leave it out since, one, you don't really have ownership of the Pokemon you encounter here, but for the sake of this video, I am going to be talking about 3 different ways you can see a shiny in this game. The first way to shiny hunt in this game is by doing resets on your rental team at the start of the game. Just like in Pokemon Coliseum and Gale of Darkness, the way to check whether or not the Pokemon you got is shiny is by checking the icon on your screen. Each reset, you get to see 6 different Pokemon, and if you get lucky, one of your first team rental Pokemon just might be shiny. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, here's what a shiny looks like, and here's what a non-shiny looks like in Pokemon Battle Revolution as per the icons. On top of that, any of the Pokemon that your opponent has a chance of being shiny as well. So you can technically hunt for non-catchable shinies, but again, you don't really have ownership over them. But there is one thing that is a hunt, a shiny hunt, but it isn't really a Pokemon, and you can own it in the game. If you've been around the shiny hunting community for a while, this is something you might know, and this is called the Shiny Outfit Hunt. In this game, there are a bunch of trainers that outfits resemble certain Pokemon, and those trainers have a small chance, a 1 in 8,146 chance of that outfit being shiny. The most popular one being the well-known shiny Groudon outfit, probably the thumbnail of this video. Huge shout out to Absol Blocks Pokemon. They're the ones that had the big video that came out a year ago. where they got themselves that shiny Groudon outfit. The hunt takes a long time because you do have to beat the entire game, then do a bunch of battles in a row to even check for the Groudon outfit. But once you do encounter it and you beat the trainer, you actually get to use the outfit itself in the game. Overall, this is a great game to shiny hunt in, and one that I can only see the most dedicated shiny hunters to do. If you guys are enjoying this video so far, do me a huge favor and leave a like and subscribe. We're starting off this year strong and we're on track to hit 20,000, so if you guys would, don't forget to hit that sub button. Another game I saw being brought up in my comment section was Pokemon Conquest. So Pokemon Conquest is a very unique game in the Pokemon spin-off series, as you don't really recruit Pokemon, but what you do recruit are warlords who have a team of Pokemon that could count as their warriors. And there's no real hunt in this game. The reason this game wasn't included in the original video is because there isn't really much of a hunt, but after catching all of the warlords that have legendary Pokemon, you can then recruit a shiny Rayquaza through Nobunga, which is one of the warlords. That is the only shiny in all of Pokemon Conquest, and it really isn't a hunt and more of a trophy of completion if we're being completely honest. Still though, it is a shiny Pokemon that can be acquired in the spin-off, so I thought it was best to talk about it here. Where are my Pokemon Conquest fans? Let me know in the comments right now. Now, I know I mentioned this before, but the most recent Pokemon spin-off games have all been basically freemium games. There are shiny Pokemon in these games, but a lot of them are locked behind shiny events or require you to spend real-life money, your hard-earned cash, to have any chance of getting these shinies in any amount of time that makes sense. One of the older mobile games that has these shiny events is the game Pokemon Shuffle. So I've never actually played Candy Rush, but I'm assuming Pokemon Shuffle is like Pokemon Candy Rush. You basically go through these levels where you have to drag these Pokemon icons around and line them up in a way that results in them being used for an attack. Now, the way it works is each level is a certain Pokemon with a certain typing, and type advantages do come into play here. Through the game, you can catch the Pokemon that you take on and add them to your team, and that helps you with type advantages. There are stages in Pokemon Shuffle called Special Stages, and that's where you can get your chance of getting one of 17 shiny Pokemon. These special stages cycle every single week to this day, so that's where you can get your chance of getting one of these shinies. But again, it really is not much of a hunt. Sometimes shiny Pokemon can appear in these stages, but it's determined on what week it is. There are only a few Pokemon that can be shiny in Pokemon Shuffle, and that can't change. So there really isn't much hunt aspect to this game at all. But if you are an avid shiny hunter and just want to get your hands on some cool shiny icons, then you might want to try this. You are limited to how many times you could do these levels, unless, again, you spend some real life money or you save up a lot of your diamond gem things. Another mobile game that has shiny Pokemon in it that a lot of you told me about in the comments is Pokemon Masters EX. Pokemon Masters EX is a spin-off gacha game that's main gimmick is 3-on-3 real-time battles. The way to recruit more Pokemon on your team is by playing the main story, where you can team up with Pokemon characters spanning through the entirety of Pokemon history, or you can go to the shop and try to get teammates that aren't in the main story. The way you get shiny Pokemon in this game is by hatching eggs given to you by the professor. But just like in a lot of the premium games, not every Pokemon can be shiny in this game, and the shiny Pokemon that are in this game are just a unique subsection of Pokemon that you can catch and not recolors of other Pokemon. Through events, more shiny Pokemon are added, but there are only a select few Pokemon that can be shiny in this game at the moment. Again, I'm not a fan of these brand new Pokemon spin-off games, and I'm especially not a fan of gacha games. So for all intents and purposes, this is as far as I'm gonna go. But I know this is a game that some of you play, so if you guys have caught a shiny, let me know. But that's gonna be it for this video. If you guys missed my previous video where I actually shiny hunted in a ton of spin-off games, watch it right here, or watch whatever YouTube's recommending to you right here. And don't forget to leave a like and subscribe.